Hi everyone, I'm Nitin Manchery, a HDI candidate from the School of Dentistry, and I'm going to present a research paper from my PhD on prospective memory and oral health in late adulthood. This particular research paper has just been recently accepted for publication in gerontology. If the eyes are the window to the soul, then the mouth is a mirror of your health. Although this idea may seem far-fetched, research has time and proven that oral health is important for general health and overall well-being of an individual. Oral health is a critical factor often ignored in the health and well-being in late adulthood. Relative to the younger counterparts, older people are more vulnerable to oral diseases. Poor oral health causes dental caries, periodontal disease, and eventually, if left untreated, results in tooth loss. Further implications are many. Overall, the impact of poor oral health can be devastating and affects quality of life in older adults. It is generally thought that the increased prevalence of oral disease is solely attributed to the aging process. However, research in recent times has identified numerous other risk factors. Of these, cognitive impairment has been the focus of considerable research in the last decade. Existing evidence show older adults present with lower cognitive performance when there are specific oral health conditions such as periodontal disease, dental caries, difficulties with masticatory function, and tooth loss. A more recent systematic review also reported that a relationship may exist between oral health and specific cognitive domains, and this was evident for domains learning and memory, complex attention, and executive function. Prospective memory, in simple terms, it is that memory that helps remember to perform or execute an action at an appropriate time or event in the future. Example, finishing a conference presentation or calling for a dental appointment. There are two types of prospective memory. You have the event-based and the time-based. Prior research has consistently linked prospective memory to a range of functionally important behaviors and shown to be significant for habit formation. However, to date, only one study has tested this relationship. Although the study identified a significant trend, interpretation of the data is limited by the use of a prospective memory measure of questionable reliability. So the aim of our study was to extend the current understanding of how prospective memory relates to oral health using a reliable measure of prospective memory and in older adults of lower and higher vulnerability status. To achieve this aim, two studies were carried out. Study 1 used a cross-sectional design in which 172 community-dwelling older adults were recruited. Participants were included if they were aged 65 and older, were able to provide informed consent, had no signs of dementia or any serious psychiatric or neurological illness. Participants then were tested individually in a 2 to 3 hour laboratory testing session, which included assessments for cognition and oral health. To index oral health, a 10-item self-reported validated questionnaire was used with total scores ranging from 0 to 20. The memory for intention screening test was used to index prospective memory. It had 8 prospective memory tasks and the responses were either verbal or a specific action. Participants could obtain a total of a maximum score of 48, which was obtained by calculating the total sum of 8 subscales within the MIST. In addition to the general cognitive measure, MMSE, other cognitive measures indexed include premorbid intelligence and retrospective memory. Study 2 followed a similar design to Study 1 with the same inclusion criteria. However, the participants were recruited from a retirement village. 32 participants were consented to participate and were then tested in a single testing session of close to 2 hours, which included assessments on cognition, oral health, and oral care capacity. In this study, the oral health, a non-invasive oral health examination was done. The dental activities test was used to index oral care capacity. All the cognitive assessments were similar to those included in Study 1, with the exception that a shorter version of the MIST was used to index prospective memory. Moving on to the mean age of older adults in Study 1 was 72.44. Females predominated, and complete oral health data was available for 80% of the 172 participants. The mean OHQ was 2.60. These low scores indicated that community dwelling older adults were generally reporting a high level of oral health. Correlations were carried out. Despite the relatively restricted OHQ range, a small but significant association emerged between event-based oral health and event-based prospective memory and oral health. No other significant associations were identified. Moving on to the results in study 2, the mean age of participants in study 2 were 81.03 years. Females constituted majority. The mean DMFT was 21.22. As in study 1, significant associations emerged only for event-based prospective memory. For both plaque and calculus index, these associations were moderate to large in magnitude. For oral care capacity, the only significant relationship to merge was with retrospective memory. Results across two discrete cohorts of older adults indicate the ability to complete a specific type of prospective memory task is related to oral health. The present study also provides an important extension to prior literature in showing that it is event-based prospective memory task that is more related to oral health than time-based prospective memory task. This is because event-based prospective memory task relies on external cues to the earlier formed intention in the appropriate situation. The magnitude of the relationship also varied with oral health status. In the community older adults where oral health was good, this magnitude of relationship was small. This was vice versa in older adults from the aged care whose oral health was poor, the magnitude of relationship was moderate to large. Another important evidence the study offered was that retrospective memory is related to oral care capacity. This finding is important as the study showcases that specific aspects of cognitive function may be strongly related and particularly important in understanding age-related decline in oral care capacity. Overall, the findings from the study give rise to an interesting possibility that poor oral health in late adulthood could be due to two distinct routes, but not mutually exclusive. The first potential route is an impaired capacity to engage in good oral health, which is associated with impaired episodic memory. The second route is an impaired capacity to remember to engage in good oral health, which is associated with impaired prospective memory. There are few limitations in the study. The correlational data presented here needs to be interpreted cautiously as no causal inferences can be made. PM may impose demand on many other neurocognitive domains not indexed or not included here. Therefore, future studies are needed that includes additional neurocognitive assessments to gain a clearer understanding. So to conclude, a significant relationship was seen between oral health and a specific type of prospective memory. Is this finding useful? Yes. Findings from such a work can be used to provide evidence-based information on how the delivery of oral health programs should be tailored to optimize oral health outcomes in older adults. These are my references. Thank you.